there has never been another you. Not before you, not right now, and there never will be again. I know that sounds maybe obvious and or confusing. Of course, there has never been another me, right? But actually sit with that for a second. Out of every person who has ever lived, every person walking around this planet right now, and every person who will exist long after we're gone, there will only be one person who has lived your exact life. One person who has experienced your childhood, your friendships, your heartbreaks, your embarrassing moments, your happy memories, your failures, your specific way of thinking, and your specific way of seeing the world. And that's you. But somehow, we're constantly trying to become somebody else. We scroll through our phones and see people who look better than us, people who have more money than us, people who seem happier, people in better relationships, people who are more successful, people who are more confident. And without even realizing it, we start measuring our worth against them. We look at somebody else's life and think, why don't I have that? What's wrong with me? Why can't I look like that? Why am I not as successful as them? And I mean, I've done it too. I think we all have. You can spend 5 minutes scrolling through social media and suddenly hate a life you were completely happy with 5 minutes earlier. And that's crazy because you're comparing your entire existence to somebody else's highlight reel. You know, I've said that a lot in other videos, but you're comparing the behind the scenes of your life to somebody's best moments. And eventually, you start thinking the problem is you. But here's what I've been thinking about lately. Maybe you're not supposed to like them. Maybe that's the entire point. Maybe the person you're comparing yourself to isn't supposed to be your destination. Maybe they're just another person trying to figure themselves out. I think we forget that. We see somebody who's confident and assume they never feel insecure. We see somebody who's successful and we assume they never had to struggle. We see somebody who's happy and we assume they've never had a bad day. But they're human, just like you. And they have insecurities and fears and nights where they question themselves. They have things about themselves they wish they could change. You don't see those parts. And there's something else that bothers me about that. And especially the way we talk about ourselves and self-improvement. We're constantly being told to become a better version of ourselves. And I love that idea, don't get me wrong. You should grow, you should learn, you should challenge yourself, you should become someone you're proud of. But there's a difference between becoming a better version of yourself and believing the person you are right now isn't worthy of love. You don't have to hate yourself into becoming a better person. You don't have to look in the mirror, find 10 things wrong with you before you're allowed to feel proud of yourself. Growth doesn't have to come from self-hatred. You can love who you are and you can still want to grow. Think about all the things that you've survived that nobody knows about. The days where you didn't think you were going to get through them. Conversations you never told anybody about, the things you cried about when nobody else was around, or the mistakes that you've made, the things that you've learned, and the people that you've lost, the things that all changed you. Every single one of those things made you into the person sitting here right now. Maybe you don't like every part of yourself, and that's okay. I don't think anybody does. But don't let the parts of yourself you dislike convince the entire person isn't worth knowing. And there's a quote I came across that really stuck with me. There's nothing like you, there was nothing like you, and there shall be nothing like you. I think that's one of the most beautiful reminders you can give somebody, because you're not replaceable, not because you're perfect. You're not. I'm not either. Nobody is. You're irreplaceable because there is literally nobody else who has lived your exact life. Nobody else has your memories, your perspective. Nobody else has loved the people you love. in the way you did, nobody else has experienced the world through your eyes, and nobody ever will. So maybe stop trying so hard to become somebody else. Take inspiration from people, absolutely. Learn from them. Let them motivate you. Let them show you what's possible, but don't lose yourself trying to become them, because the world doesn't need another version of somebody else. It needs you. And that might sound corny or cheesy, I'm sure. I genuinely believe it. There are things you can do that nobody else can do exactly the way you can. There are people you can reach that nobody else will. There are experiences that you will have that nobody else will understand in quite the same way. Your story might not be the biggest story or the coolest or most impressive. It might not look anything like the life you imagined when you were younger, but it is yours, and that's worth something. I think we spend way too much time asking ourselves, are we good enough, attractive enough, successful, interesting, all those things, right? Maybe we should ask different questions. Am I actually being myself? Because you can spend your entire life trying to impress people and still feel empty. You can become exactly who everyone else wants you to become and wake up one day and realize you don't even recognize yourself anymore. I don't want that, personally. And I don't think you should either. So, big takeaway. If you've been comparing yourself lately, been feeling behind, if you've been looking at somebody else's life and wondering why yours doesn't look like theirs, take a step back, take a breath. You're not them. You're not supposed to be them, and you don't have to be. You're allowed to take your time. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to fail. You're allowed to start over. You're allowed to not know what you're doing. You're allowed to become somebody completely different from who you thought you'd be. Just don't abandon yourself along the way, because there has never been another you. There isn't another you right now, and there never will be. So don't spend the one life that you get trying to live somebody else's. Becoming yourself might be the most important thing you ever do. Wherever you are, I hope you don't forget that you're already somebody worth becoming. I'm sorry if nobody has ever made you feel that way. I'm sorry if you spent years believing you weren't enough. I'm sorry if someone made you feel replaceable. But you aren't. There is nothing like you. There has been nothing like you, and there shall be nothing like you. So please, don't give up on yourself. Stay Rohly.